we got to hit all the right buttons. So Eddie Holland's with me today. We're talking about Social Security, and one of those things that pretty much everybody has to deal with. And I know some financial shows on this station on the weekend seems like they talk about it every week, although usually they say the same thing every week because it's the same recording. But it's important for people to understand there are some nuances. It's not as complicated as what some people might want it to sound like, just because they are trying to sell you something. But Eddie's done a lot of special research in the Social Security and Medicare area, and we want to tap into that brain power. So Eddie Holland's a CPA. He's also a certified financial planner, a personal financial specialist, certified kingdom advisor. Is that it?
I think that's it. Yes.
That's not that's enough. So welcome, Eddie.
Thank you, Mike. Good morning.
So I've been on my promo this week talking about how it's one of Talking Money favorites coming back on the air this coming Saturday for Talking Money. So we're talking about Social Security. Of course, we want to answer your questions, and typically we get a lot of questions about Social Security when Eddie comes on. 877-235-9405 is the phone number, or the text line if you want to not be quite as brave and send us a text. We'll be glad to pick that up too. If you happen to be listening to this via a blog, because you picked it off of the Talking Money website, then you want to just send your email later, or you can send it right now. I'll try to pick it up during the break. Mike@talkingmoneyradio.com. Mike@talkingmoneyradio.com. And I always have this disclaimer at the beginning of the program each week. But because we're talking about Social Security, the compliance attorneys wanted to add a little bit to it, Eddie. You know, got to make the attorneys happy, right?
Absolutely.
So Ronald Blue Trust and its employees have general knowledge of the Social Security tenets. However, they do not have complete expertise to provide a full discussion of the details of your specific situation, which is accurate because we don't know their situation that's calling in. So for additional information, contact your local Social Security Administration office. And I'll give you a little caveat on that too. Be careful who you talk to there, because you may not get the right answer the first time. You've had some experience with that.
I have, yes. And one of the important things is to understand, do your research before you go in. Don't take everything at just face value based on what the agent tells you. And don't be afraid to ask for a supervisor if the information you get is inconsistent with your understanding.
Yes, good advice. And hopefully they'll carry that with into the Social Security office. And we do help our clients obviously with Social Security, but it's just part of the bigger picture. It's not just Social Security. And I've heard a lot of different comments about when to take Social Security and different opinions. And unfortunately, you're really not going to know the very best time to take Social Security unless you knew when you were going to die. Unless you have a financial situation that says, I got to have the money no matter what.
Correct.
Then you have to take it. But if it's not that situation, if we knew when you were going to die, we could really help plan good, couldn't we?
Absolutely. That and life insurance and a lot of different financial components, we can definitely make the best decision, the one that maximizes your wealth. But that's the key missing ingredient, so we have to base it on other factors.
And I don't know about you, Eddie, but I think I do. I don't really want to know what that date is.
No,
God,
question.
Yeah, God can keep that to himself. Don't give me any premonition. So I was speaking with my brother Brian. He's been a client for a while. He lives down in Florida. He may or may not be listening. He has the app.
But he has no excuse not to listen.
Yes, he doesn't.
He has a family obligation. So
he
no
should.
Excuse.
He should. But one of the questions he had was a question that we get quite common. So I thought, well, let's just address that. And the question, and what gets confusing to a lot of people, is that difference between, all right, if I'm going to collect Social Security and I'm going to continue working, how much of that is going to, and how do they calculate how much of that is going to be taken back from Social Security, and what year do they do it? How do they, that's one of his questions, like, okay, how do they know, and when does that come into effect? Because they don't know what I made till the end of the year, but I'm already taking Social Security. So, and then the other part that kind of does so with it, but doesn't, you really need to keep them separate, is how much of your Social Security will be included as taxable income in a given year. And one would use the one employee's or the one spouse's earned income for the calculation. One would use joint, assuming you're doing a joint file tax return. So share some wisdom there.
Yes. So before we jump into that, because that's, as you said, Mike, that's multifaceted and pretty nuanced, let's just lay some core ground rule and groundwork principles.
Okay,
so
good.
When we're talking about Social Security, there's really three types of benefit that you can draw, and we're excluding disability for now. So we're talking about pure retirement benefits. You can claim on your own record, you can claim off of your spouse's record, or you can claim on a deceased person's record. So you have your own benefit, a spousal benefit, and then what they call a survivor benefit. Social Security defines what a full benefit is based on your year of birth. That's what most people call the full retirement age when you receive an unreduced quote unquote benefit. Full retirement age is based on your year of birth, as I said. Anyone born between 1943 and 1954, full retirement age is 66. Anyone born 1960 or later, full retirement age is 67. If you're born in between those periods, so 54 to 1960, the full retirement age goes up in 2 months.
Phased in, yeah.
So it's 1957, let's just say, is 66 and 6 months. If you take it prior to that, there's a reduction in benefit.
Mm-hmm.
It's the earliest you can take it is 62. If you delay past your full retirement age, you receive a delayed